Hey guys, I'm Dav, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Figured with some of the dwarf replays I've been showing recently with the dwarfs getting beat down, I've been having some entries in the Book of Grudges here, so we're going to take the dwarves against the Tomb Kings today to see if we can set some of those grudges right. Obviously there are far too many grudges to settle in a single battle. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the dwarf list here that I brought. Ungrim Iron Fist is going to be the Lord here, as of course against the Tomb Kings you'll expect to see some large armored constructs. No abilities on him to make it as cheap as possible, just his base stats. Armor piercing, anti-large, huge melee attack, 120 armor, and unbreakable. We've also got his shield thane here to back him up with the Tormentor Sword to pin things in place. In terms of the actual army, we've gone with a bit of a modified version of my Napoleonic Dawi build. So we've got up front 4 units of miners with blasting charges, we've got 4 thunderers, 2 trollhammer torpedoes, and a single unit of the regular iron drakes. I figured since the Tomb Kings are weak to fire damage, these guys might have a place here. I'm a little bit skeptical as to if they'll pay off, but let's take a look. We've also got 1 unit of Bugman's Rangers, the 2 cannons, and that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, no, we do also have some gyrocopters here. Haven't brought gyrocopters in a while, but in this particular matchup they're actually really nice, being that a couple of things. Well, for one, they do armor piercing and flaming, so if you're shooting at a Tomb King's character, these guys can do a lot of damage. They have the bombs as well, 100 armor. They can get shot out of the sky pretty easily by Ushabti great bows, so you got to be careful about that. But overall, a very good unit in this particular matchup, pretty underrated, and one I haven't experimented with too much. Dwarfs definitely have a lot of good options. I think this is a pretty decent matchup for them, but yeah, the flaming armor piercing of the brimstone guns, very, very good here. Let's take a look at the Tomb Kings list here. We've got the hated no lifer himself, Arkan the Black here, rolling through on his chariot. He's got a few units of Ushabti great bows, 2 in fact, 1 regular and 1 is the Regiment of Renown. Got a regular unit of Ushabti, Casket of Souls, Kemerian War Sphinx, and the front line is going to be a mix of skeletons and Tomb Guard with the Blessed Legion and 1 unit of Carrion. Let's go ahead and kick things into full gear. For Arkan's spells, he's just got Spear Legion, Fate of Yuna, so nothing too creative there, but it is decent. You can see the cannons are opening up shots, trying to take out these Ushabti great bows first things first, and obviously if they manage to make contact, they will do quite a bit of damage. That being said, let's see who these Ushabti great bows are firing in on. Ooh, looks like they're going after these Thunderers here, which is a pretty solid target, all things considered. They can definitely do a lot of damage, and the Thunderers are a very important target. The scatter shot of the Casket of Souls is at the extreme end of its range. You can kind of see the outline of its the end of its range right here. When you're firing out towards the extreme end of the range here, you can actually get a lot worse on the scatter, so it's going to be hard to hit tight little pockets of Dawi infantry like this from so far away. You can see the Kemerian War Sphinx is coming in over on this side, and the hail of the Trollhammer torpedoes and the bullets from the Thunderers, of course, going to be coming in. The Bugman's Rangers even contributing their little crossbow bolts as well. You can see this Kemerian War Sphinx immediately regretting his life decision to come in here unsupported. The gyrocopters are tangled up with the Carrion, which does mean that they can't shoot. However, you know, they are tying down these Carrion, keeping them from getting onto my ranged units here. We're going to lock down Arkan with the Tormentor Sword. You can see Ungrim and his Shield Thane running in here, all wild and crazy. Ungrim's having a hard time getting around the cannon there, but he's going to get in here and hopefully get 1 or 2 swipes. Will do quite a bit of damage to Arkan. Meanwhile, my opponent's pushing through with his infantry. You can see the blasting charges have done a ton of damage in the front line here. We'll watch as these guys light up the Tomb King's infantry here, and it's going to be pretty solid. You can see Thunderers also firing in from the flank. I mean, miners will lose over time, especially to Tomb Guard, but they'll be able to hold for a little bit. They have solid leadership. They're allowing these Thunderers to fire in from the hill position and take out these Ushabti here in this pocket. Very nice physical resistance buff, a little bit hard to see in the snow going down from Arkan, but we're immediately going to turn everything to fire at Arkan in the back since he's all exposed, and he's trying to take down this cannon right now, which is a good target, but we've got the gyrocopters up in the sky, and here come the Iron Drakes themselves, just obliterating my frame rate and also doing a ton of damage to Arkan. Just all these ranged units all working in tandem are going to be able to burst Arcan down very quickly. So you can see he's just charging straight through the fire and flames there. That actually did a surprising amount of damage, especially considering that the Iron Drakes don't have the best AP values at the end of the day, all things considered. But wow, that was pretty solid. You can see we've remounted this cannon over here after getting knocked off by Arcan earlier, and just continuing to focus on those Ushabti Great Bows with the cannons. That way, you know, they're not going to be thinking about getting too close here. This other unit of Ushabti is still online, but the Troll Hammer is definitely going to be taking them out shortly. You can see they're starting to crumble away their leadership. And at this point, most of the large armored units are gone. Arcan is running through the forest, trying to escape from the gyrocopters, but he's not too long for this world, as only a few more shots from the gyrocopters with their brimstone guns should be able to put him back into the dirt where he came from. So yeah, definitely looking pretty solid for the Dawi so far. It looks like he actually just died of the crumbling damage there. But yeah, miners pushing through, trying to get into the back line here of the Tomb Kings a little bit. The cannons are still focusing fire, and over here the Trollhammer torpedoes and Ungrim working in tandem to take down the Tomb Guard. At this point, all this area has pretty much been cleaned up. There's just a few Tomb Guard fighting in here. You can see the Bugman's Rangers have taken a lot of losses. They're actually going to rout away here, but excuse me, Trollhammer torpedoes sitting on the side, still very healthy. Ungrim and the Thane wondering what happened as all the skeletons just kind of fall over next to them. But yeah, Ushabti Great Bows being inundated by miners in the back line here. Going to hold them in place for the cannons and other ranged units to get their work done. We've got some Thunderers firing in from that line over there. And yeah, should be victory for the Dwarfs relatively shortly. You can see the Blessed Legion here trying to fire in, but at the end of the day, it's not going to quite be enough. The Ushabti have been summoned in the back line, trying to get on those Iron Drakes, who unfortunately I missed. Did get a beautiful roast of some Tomb King's infantry, which would have definitely destroyed my frame rate. But yeah, fortunately we didn't quite catch that, but they did get some work done. 43 kills. Considering I haven't really got Iron Drakes to work at all before, it's pretty solid, all things considered. But yeah, they are a little bit of a meme unit. I still don't think they're super competitive, but they're going to post up here and try and take some last shots at these Ushabti potentially as they run away. Those are the summoned Ushabti here, so at this point everything else has crumbled away off the battlefield. It's just these summoned Ushabti, so we'll watch as all the missile units kind of form the concave and start to fire their various missile weapons with all sorts of fire and brimstone coming in here, just whittling down these Ushabti no problem. Even some literal fire from the few remaining proper Iron Drakes there. But yeah, very fun stuff, very fun battle. I do think this is a matchup that can potentially be tough for the Tomb Kings, precisely because of this. They're relatively slow, and the Dwarfs can just bring so much missile pressure to the table, so much armor-piercing, anti-large, even flaming missile pressure, as you saw from the Brimstone gun there, and of course the Iron Drakes as well. So in terms of the army breakdown, not really too much to go over here. I mean, obviously the Trollhammer torpedoes did very well. Even the regular Iron Drakes themselves, 43 kills, pretty solid at the end of the day. Gyrocopters only got 1 kill. They were mostly focused on Arcan the whole time. But the cannons also applying pressure to the Ushabti Great Bows was super solid. The Thunderers standing in the back, just continuously applying that armor-piercing pressure. And some of these miners, man, 69 kills is not too bad for a unit of miners with blasting charges. Considering how flimsy their combat stats are. They usually don't perform super well in melee, but those blasting charges, if you get a few clean volleys with them into some low-tier infantry like Skeleton Warriors, they can definitely pay for themselves very, very quickly. For my opponent, obviously Arcan getting taken out, as well as that Camarine War Sphinx early on in the battle was super rough. I'm not really a fan of this going missile heavy against the Dwarves. I've been trying a lot of different builds as the Tomb Kings recently to try and figure out something that works for going up against the Dwarves, and it's very, very tough. But I mean, Arcan the Black, it's just so expensive to take him on the chariot, so maybe worth taking him on the ground. You could even consider taking someone like Katep as well, just to get more magic. You put him on the chariot, he's a little bit cheaper overall. That being said, obviously Arcan has the Tomb Blade, which heals, and his other items, so you could even do something like this where you bring Soul Blight. Soul Blight is a pretty good pick in this matchup. I may not worry about the direct damage ones except for Fate of Yuna potentially, and we'll take Soul Blight as well. And then you can take him on the Chariot if you want. I guess it's not that expensive at the end of the day. But going missile heavy against the dwarfs is very, very risky. I think if you were to go something like this with just a lot of constructs, and you know, you kind of go super heavy on the constructs, and then, I mean, obviously that amount of missile pressure will still be able to deal with all of this, but the idea is that they're not able to deal with all of it at the same time, per se. So I definitely like the pick of the Carrion. I do think you need to bring more, though, just to tie down missile units. They're very, very useful in that respect. We may even grab a couple of Tomb Guard here as well. And we still have a few points left, so maybe we grab one more Skeleton Warrior just for giggles here. But something like this I think would be super solid as well. You still have similar armor piercing in the front line, even better actually with the Tomb Scorpions. You don't try and play that missile game, you just get straight in there, you monster mash with the Tomb Scorpions, and they can really get into the back line aggressively, and they're hard to shoot at because of their animations as well. So I think something like this might work a little bit better for what the Tomb King opponents ran into there. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. It's always a fun time taking out Ungrim, Napoleonic Ungrim, Ungrim Bonaparte, if you will. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we'll see you next time.